This is the Etobicoke Lakeshore Podcast. Welcome, my friends. Hi, I'm Mike, and right there is Roger Tumanieri. He's the publisher of the Etobicoke Lakeshore Press. It's kind of a big deal, don't you know? Hi, Roger.
Hey, howdy, Mike. How are you?
Doing good, man. Well, here we are podcasting in a socially distant scenario where you have literally, quite literally, become the first truck caster in podcast history. I'm so impressed to be with you.
Buddy, it's become a hashtag now, truck casting.
Hashtag truckcast. I love it.
I'm going to get Ford to sponsor me.
This is kind of interesting because your publication has come to life like something in Harry Potter, except for the ears in this case, where we're still reaching out into the community. Well, things are tough right now, and we're socially distant. We are trying to make an effort here as one of the community, I guess, communicators, and keeping things going so we can find out what's happening in the community. Many other cool guests before this. So go ahead and subscribe to this podcast if you are in the part of Toronto that is so beautiful, known as South Etobicoke, Mimico, Long Branch. Name a couple of other places, man.
New Toronto,
Hollywood,
the Queensway, Humber Bay Shores. Yeah, it's all right there.
In fact, New Toronto is where we are making a stop today remotely, and we're going to be hanging out with Kelly from Oak Learners. Tell me about Kelly.
Well, for starters, she's in Mimico Village.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Just to be specific, that's quite all right. But
I misunderstood
I'm kind of a
when we
stickler
talked.
for all the sort of hyper-local geography.
No, man, I like that. I'm learning.
Although maybe she's at home, maybe she's in, maybe she lives in New Toronto. I don't know. We'll ask her. But yeah, it's Kelly Farrell, and she's the director of Oak Learners, which is in Mimico Village on Royal York. And of all the people that I work with, Kelly was really on my mind when this pandemic hit. As someone I was concerned about, I really felt for her. She runs a school there, and with all the kids being sent home, I was, concerned about how she was gonna keep on keeping on. But she is a perfect example of somebody who has pivoted her business, and I'm really happy that she's on the show right now because I really want to find out what she's doing with Oak Learners, because I think she's done a wonderful job of adapting to COVID-19. So without further ado, let's welcome Kelly Farrell to the show.
Hi, Kelly.
All right. Hi, Mike. Hi, Roger. How's it going?
Good, thank you. I'm sorry about the
for having me.
location. The location mishap off the top. We were talking New Toronto, and I had it on my mind. My apologies.
It's true, and I do live in New Toronto, but I am in Mimico Village today.
Oh, there you go.
We were both right, Mike.
Yeah.
Isn't that nice how we do that, Roger?
Yes.
Now this is a good point that Roger makes. You have a wonderful school, and all of a sudden you're faced with this situation that I think impacts you greatly because you are connected to families, not just students, but families. And this is a major thing when you're learning and you're trying to get through an education, to have it halted this way and for you to have to be the facilitator halting it. This must have been a devastating blow in that regard.
Absolutely. Those are days that will, be those things, where were you when you found out you had to close your business because of COVID-19? And for sure, when that was all happening and discussions were happening and we found out that the Ontario schools were going to close, and we thought, well, what's that going to do to private schools? What's that going to do for March break camps? A lot of March break camps closed preemptively. We decided to stay open because we're quite small. We only had, I think we had less than 10 students that were coming. So we thought, okay, we can manage with small numbers. And so we opened for March break for the first day and then had to close it later on that day on the Monday. Oh. And everything just happened so fast. It was completely mind-boggling. And, thinking about the families that were put out of childcare that suddenly had children at home for the full day, and they're not used to this. Yeah. And then they're trying, parents trying to work from home, having their kids at home, going, what on earth are we going to do with ourselves?
Well, it is. It's an impactful time, and that you're a private. Let's talk about your school. Actually,
sure.
What do you provide? Talk about your school. Let's learn more.
Yeah. So Oak Learners does a whole bunch of different stuff. So we do have a private school, a day school, as part of what we do. And then we have a learning center that operates outside of school hours. So we do tutoring, music lessons, art classes, and then we have day camps. So we do PA day camps, March break camps, summer camps, and all
Wow.
that.
You are going to be, if everybody's allowed to go back this summer, brace yourself, because I'm even sending my adult kids to camp. Everybody must go.
I know. I hope so. I hope you're right.
What do you feel about that right now? As by the way, this is we're kind of middle of April at this point, and well, almost heading into the end of April. There's
Yeah.
still snow falling from the sky, and March break was a bomb.
Yep.
Schools are talking about not going back until the fall, by and large, in many places. What's your game plan at the moment, and what do you see on the horizon?
Well, so what we did when we had to close for March break is we did like pretty much an immediate pivot. I'm lucky that I have a tech background in social media and website building. So I was able to take a few days, get my website up and running so that we could get our classes online very quickly. So we've been online since I'm going to say since March 18th, we started running online programs. So a full month now of doing that. It's going so fantastically. And we're, continuing to expand that to do more interactive stuff with larger groups so that, kids are getting social time.
Oh, that's great.
Instead of feeling like they're just learning at home by themselves.
Well, they get a lot of time with grandma and grandpa on the phone and aunt and uncle now, but to have a bunch of other kids that they missed from their camp and from their programs, that's a big deal for sure.
And I just had a social hour with some kids and all they wanted to do was show each other their toys. So they're coming up to the Zoom, video casting, and they're showing this is my toy. This is my stuffed animal. This is my whatever. And I'm going, you know what? This is what they need. They're missing that.
Also, that's a great opportunity kids don't normally get, is to show their stuff off at home. They're at the program. They're at the place. Okay, well, you know what? We're going to adapt. I'll show you my bedroom now. I'll show you my stuff. That's so cute.
Yep. It's so cute. It's really wonderful. But, for summer camp, I think all of us, for so many reasons, parents and teachers alike, or parents and camp owners alike, hope that summer camp goes back because, we need to get these kids outside. We need to get them running around. We need to get them social.
Yeah, absolutely. That the social thing is so important for kids. They become insular so quickly. I remember distinctly a 4-week period where my kids were sick with something or other and they were all home, similar to this. Oh my good Lord. And they were young at the time. It was a struggle for everybody, just because we were quarantined. I think it was like chickenpox or something. We were all quarantined and it was really difficult. And the most difficult thing was those kids became insular because their friends weren't around them. They quickly healed, I'll tell you that.
Oh, for sure. And, there's some positives that come out of it. I know a lot of families are feeling closer. Siblings are having to play with each other. So they're figuring out sibling rivalries and, learning to get along, learning to play together and enjoy each other's time. But, really at the end of the day, we have to find a way to safely get back to them being able to forge their own friendships. And then hopefully maintain some of the stronger family ties that have been built during this time, which is nice. It's a nice positive.
It's really nice.
Yeah,
to hear you
speaking
speak
personally,
that way.
it's giving us an opportunity, or me specifically, the opportunity to spend extra time with the boys, with Jax and Luke, and that to me, I think is it's a blessing. It's certainly something that I wouldn't necessarily get to do, considering I work 6 or 7 days a week, and I'm sure it's no different for you guys as small business owners, right? You're always working, and when it doesn't look like you're working, you're really still working. But having said that, it's still a real challenge. Jax is 7, he's in grade 2, he's full of beans, he's a go kind of a kid, and we want to keep him occupied, and it's tricky. I'm sure it's challenging for a lot of parents. And Kelly, you have I think a special position here in our community. I mean, you run the school, but you can also offer parents, I think, a lot of good information and certainly some hope. What's your message to parents at a time like this?
You know what? Slow down and change your expectations. Set realistic expectations. And who cares what everyone else is doing? You don't have to have a beautiful schedule that, you go by minute. Kids do need structure. And so setting up some kind of structure is great, but it has to be something that works for you, for the whole family. I hear too many moms these days, particularly, because it still, I think, does fall a lot on the moms, but it's great that dads are really taking a larger role in that these days too. But I think, there's a lot of competition going on between, I have this beautiful laminated poster of what our day looks like, or I have this jar of activities we can choose from. And, not all of us can function that way. And for me, I'm like you, I'm working every single day and, really trying to coordinate all of my programs at this time. And my 13-year-old daughter is like, hey, mom, like, can we hang out? And I'm just like, I'm so torn because, it's, yes, I want to keep my business alive and serve all the families, but then there's, oh yeah, okay, family time. So there's, making it work for us is finding the times where I can say, okay, for the next couple hours, and for me, it's usually about early afternoon to mid-afternoon, I can shut everything off and I can give her my full attention. In the mornings, she's a teenager, so she sleeps in. So I have that bonus that parents of young children don't have right now. But, she's sleeping, so I'm working. And then in the afternoons, we're finding our time, which is nice. But I think every family has to do that on their own because there is no right way to do this for anyone.
That's great advice.
Yeah, great advice. Yeah, absolutely.
If there was a template for this, it's being written while we're doing it. That's for sure, because we did not see this coming to this degree. Well, listen, Kelly, this is a really interesting time for people to carefully plan out what they might do with their summer.
Yep.
Many people are going to have to focus on going back to work. And I would imagine work for many people will be double time and catching up and getting back to life and reality. And your summer will be very busy. Let's direct people to where they can find out more about your programs and get ready for summer.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's oaklearners.ca, and all of the information for our summer camps are there. And we even have a whole bunch of activities and resources there for parents right now to keep kids busy. And we're adding more every day to keep them off screens, more ideas of what you can do outside, more ideas of what you can do as a family, or setting kids up on their own to explore. So they're not just stuck on the screen watching videos and playing games. So yeah,
very cool. That's a great addition to the household right now. So thank you. Well, there
Absolutely.
you go. Once again, Roger, deep into the community we go to find out that the survivors are making change, and they're doing it for all the right reasons. They want to be part of the community. They want to continue to service their clients. They want to expand their brand. And they're doing it very thoughtfully, and it's really impressive to me.
Oh, I'm so impressed too. And I think a lot of the folks that I work with, they're just conditioned to want to help others. They're business people and they're profit minded as well. But I think the thread that is woven across everybody that keeps everybody together is this desire to be a community, to help others, and to get through all of this together so that on the other side we can flourish.
Roger, you're just about the best. I'm going to recommend people subscribe to this podcast and go to etobicoakeshorepress.com. You can find all the podcasts at etobicoakeshorepress.com/podcast. And you can even see the most recent edition of the magazine there and find out more about some of the wonderful people that we have featured in this podcast series. Stay safe, buddy.
You too, Mike. Thanks.